Come cook with me as a disabled stay-at-home mom with a visual impairment. We're going to be making Fideo, which is a traditional Mexican dish. I will be using potatoes, onions, Fideo, and ground beef. First, you want to wash your potatoes, then you want to peel them. I wash my potatoes again before I dice them. You want to be careful. I almost had an oopsie there. I almost cut myself. You want to take your time. You can make them as big or as small as you like. Like I said, I have a visual impairment, so mine are going to be a little big. I'm going to put them in a pot again, and I'm going to wash them again, and then I'm going to set them aside. Who else rinses their cutting board as often as I do? I'm constantly cleaning it up. I don't like a messy cutting board. Next, I'm going to get my cilantro, and I'm going to cut it. Like I said, I do have a visual impairment, so mine are a little chunky. You can dice them as fine as you want. You know, to each their own. Either way, they're going to get cooked and incorporated into the soup. I'm going to get 2 Roman tomatoes because I'm going to use them for my tomato salsa. You can cut it as fine as you want. I just do it like this so that it's a little bit easier on my blender. Traditionally, you can boil them first and then like add the water that you boiled them in, but either way, they're going to get cooked. You'll see what I'm going to do. But traditionally, what you would do, you would put the tomatoes in water on the stove and boil them and just put them in there so they're cooked. But today I didn't want to do that. As you can see, I put them in raw. Nothing happens. The food tastes fine. This goes without saying, you add the water because it's not salsa and it won't blend if it doesn't have a little bit of liquid. So just add a little bit of water just to get it going. Here I am getting my stuff together, rinsing my cutting board again. Now I'm cutting a little bit more onion and I'm setting that onion aside. I'm going to be using it when I cook my fideos. I didn't realize that my camera was not really aimed towards the blender, but this is where I went ahead and I added my spices. I use salt, garlic, nor tomate, and a little bit of pepper, and I blended it in. When I cooked my meat, I did not add any spices or any seasoning because I've already added the flavor into the salsa. Now later on, you taste the soup, and if you feel it needs more, you can always add more. I always measure with my heart, or until my ancestors, they scream at me to stop. For my family, we are a family of 3. I'm only using a pound of ground beef. If you would like to multiply it, you can use more than that. But for me and my family, that's more than enough. And believe it or not, we actually had leftovers. You want to brown your meat. I had to get a separate pan because that's the pan I'm going to use to cook my fideos in. Making sure that the meat is browned, I'm going to go ahead and set it aside. Now I'm going to get my pan. I oil it with olive oil. I hear it's healthier. This is Goya fideos. I believe I put about maybe a little bit less than half of the packet in there. And there's my onion. You also want to brown the fideos, which are the noodles. You can make this recipe. It doesn't have to be with these kind of fideos. You can use it with any fideos. The important thing is that you brown them so they don't get mushy. Here I am stirring it. Those are the onions I set aside earlier, by the way. I'm pouring my meat in here. No, I did not drain it because I'm going to let them cook with the fideos and incorporate that grease, that flavor into my dish. It's not going to hurt anyone. You can drain it if you want, to each their own. I added my potato. I only use one potato. Like I said, if you have a bigger family, you can use more than one potato. It's based on what you want. You can make this recipe your own. There's my salsa. I'm going to cook it in. And with my fideos, my meat, and my potatoes for a while. Stir it in there real good. I brought it to a boil. And I added my jalapeno. I don't know about you, but a jalapeno always gives it a little kick. And my 8-year-old son, he doesn't mind a little kick. He likes it. This is one of his favorite meals. And goes the cilantro, because you can never go wrong with cilantro. This is where you would like to add a little bit more water. And then a little bit more. Well, let me know how you liked it. Enjoy!